Welcome back on the Touchline on Y254. Of course, another segment for the interview, and it's opening it up for us this lovely afternoon. And I'm pleased to have Louis Kisia, the assistant coach for Shujaa. Karibu sana, Louis.
Thank you for having me.
And great job that you did achieve, you alongside the rest of the technical bench, of course, led by Kevin Wambua. And it was not a mean feat. I remember when when you guys were given the mandate, right? That was last year. The technical bench was being announced. I know that there are some steps or moves that you had to make that were bold, right?
Yes.
For you to get to this point where we are celebrating the results that you've achieved up to date, right? What were some of the moments or bold decisions that the team had to make for you to get the result?
Well, thank you, Bernard. Definitely coming into the setup, we had to set our non-negotiables to the team for us to perform at our best. If I can pinpoint maybe one or two, our biggest success has been developing the skill level of our players. It's a primer that we do on a day-to-day basis, whether it's raining, whether it's the sunlight. We always start with the basics, which are the rugby skills. Aside from that, we brought in a good culture whereby it was all about respecting everyone's role in the team, players knowing their role, technical staff knowing their role. Lastly, we brought in the aspect of having co-captains, which in itself brought in more freedom of expression, easy to communicate from the technical bench to the players' side, and from the players' side to the technical side. Vincent Onyala, one of the co-captains, is a forward, so it's easy for him to talk to the forwards and bring back his information from the boys. Same as Tony Omondi, who's a back, so easy for him to talk to his backs and bring information whenever needed. Yes.
And I remember at the airport when you guys landed on Tuesday, and Onyala was talking about how he comes from a generation that's a little bit haphazard, and Tony Omondi steadies the ship. How is that?
Well, definitely two different aspects of life. As he rightly puts it, he comes from he says he's from the ghetto. Then Tony is from the middle class. So it's dependent on how people relate. Onyala is an introvert. He keeps to himself most of the time. Now Tony is outgoing. He talks a lot. He reaches out to everyone. So if you blend the two together, it brings what we have currently. Yes.
And of course, blending the young and experience, and how did it work out?
Well, again, they always say experience the best teacher, and you can never buy experience. For starters, we had probably 4 or 5 experienced players who had played in the series before. Then we brought in the young tucks, the likes of Samuel Asati, Patrick Odongo, Nigel Amaitsa, just to mention but a few. As I said earlier, the non-negotiables were the camaraderie in the team. The culture in the team had to be one. We had to respect each and everyone's role, because the role that a young player like Samuel Asati brings is different compared to what a senior player like John Okoth would bring. So the respect in itself is what made it easy for the boys to blend together. If you see these boys off field, they are good friends. Aside from just playing rugby, they are good friends. So it's easy to have them play together. Yes.
And how important was it for the technical bench to start on a winning note when you did beat the Blitzboks to qualify for the Olympics?
Well, definitely a tough one going against the Blitzboker. But ours at Kenya Sevens nowadays is taking a game at a time. We fear no man. We get our inspiration from the Bible, especially from Ecclesiastes, where there's time for everything. So having said that, we always take a game at a time. The first time we went to Zimbabwe, we took it by stride, playing the first day. Second day, same as the first day. Heading to the finals against Boca, we not only knew that they were just human beings like us, but we knew we had to put our best foot forward. Otherwise, the program was going to shatter. So the boys did what they did, and now we headed to Paris. Yes.
And of course, that immediately after that, there was the Challenger Series.
Yes.
And your result maybe at the Olympic qualifiers must have fired you, because you did win. Kenya did win the first one in Dubai.
Yes, definitely we relied on the momentum that we had from Zimbabwe. having beaten Blitzboker and in Africa and in the world over, Blitzboker is known to be a good rugby powerhouse. So having beaten them, we relied on that heading into Dubai. The teams that were playing in the Challenger Series, aside from Uruguay, and are teams that we played before in the series. And the boys knew what it would have meant to them heading into Madrid for the playoffs. So we had to start on a high note, ensure that we get maximum points, so that by the time we are hitting the playoffs, we get a slot to make it in the playoffs, because it was only 4 teams making it to the playoffs. And our success in Dubai really propelled us, because heading into the 2 other series in Uruguay and the recent one in Munich, we didn't perform very well, but luckily we had secured maximum points from Dubai. Yes.
And of course in Munich, I think wherever I was feeling like you guys are winning. Was that the feeling too?
Every sportsman who takes onto the pitch always has that feeling that they always want to win. But at times, lady luck is not on your side, and you lose. And being a sport or being a good athlete, you accept the results. You win some, you lose some. Go back to the drawing board and start over again. Yeah.
And now you went to Madrid. That's when it all mattered. But in the final match against the most important match against Germany, you had to come from behind.
Well, we played Germany before. We played Germany in Dubai. We lost. We played Germany in their home turf in Munich. We lost despite them having a red card. So again, we went back to the drawing board, looked at where we went wrong, and all the games we had a chance of winning, but the boys let themselves down. So heading into the second game on Sunday in Madrid, which was a do or die. We knew what had to be done. We picked up on all the scenarios that will come our way, be it having a yellow card, which actually happened. How do we handle that situation? If we head into the game, or head into halftime trailing, how do we handle that situation? And the boys bought into the program, and despite us having starting on a trailing, we eventually overcame that and won the tournament and won the challenger. Yes.
And I believe that the training or the camp in Miramas, France, must have played a big role as well to sharpen the squad.
Definitely, camps are always plus for the teams, because now if guys are training from their home base, it's a bit difficult at times because of traffic. A few guys come in late. You're not able to maximize on the sessions. But once you have these residential camps, like the one we had in Kasarani for 3 weeks, then we went to Munich and came back and had one in Miramas, as you rightly put it. It makes it easy, especially for the technical side, to come up with ways and scenarios on how to train, because the availability of players is there. So it becomes very easy. So as we just thank our supporters and everybody who is involved in ensuring that we get these residential camps, because it goes a long way. Yes.
And I mean, there have been a couple of years of searching for the transition after the Injeras and Mondes all left the stage. It was now for the next generation. And the transition, maybe people have said that you've gotten it right so quick.
Well, before you got the job, let me take you back a bit, because probably I'll say this. Not many people know this, aside from myself, Andrew Amonde, and Kevin Wambua. When we got this job, the first time we met at the union, we sat at the KRU boardroom, and we wanted to compare notes to see what players who had chosen. So when Kevin Wambua read his 35-man squad, Andrew Amonde read his 35-man squad, I read my 35-man squad. Out of 35, all 35 were similar. We'd never talked, we'd never sat together. So that's where we got it right. From that instance, I knew we had gotten it right, because what I was seeing from my point of view, it seems all the other coaches were seeing. That's the start of the success of this team. In regards to transition, never easy, but you have to do it right. Over the years, we didn't do it right. The reason why Kenya was relegated. We left a big transition gap. But right now, we are at a good place, at a happy place, and we want to ensure that we recruit for the next generation. By the time the likes of Onyala and Tony Omondi are moving out, we have somebody who was at least traveled, played a couple of series, to fill in the slot. Yes.
And talking about somebody who has traveled, has experience, this particular team, some of them were traveling for the first time outside the country, but they still delivered. What was the message?
Definitely, having traveled the first time probably to Zimbabwe or to Dubai, they saw how it was. It was something good, something nice, and why not have this each and every other time? This is what they do on a day-to-day basis, and they are good at playing rugby. They are passionate about it. So every time we have sessions and every time we go for games, they give their level best, because again, you want to do this over and over and over again. Yes.
And of course, you talked about how you and Mwamba compared notes, but we all go back and know that you played together in 2005 at Mwamba. The camaraderie, how important is it for you to deliver as the technical bench?
Well, I think we always read from the same script. We complement each other. Having known Wambua for over 20 years now, we first joined Mwamba in December 2004. We played many years with him before he transitioned into coaching. So he's even coached me before at Mwamba. So he's a good chap. He's my friend, aside from being a colleague and aside from being my boss. So the brotherhood in itself brings out, because we want the best for one another. I know his success is my success, and my success is his success. So that in a nutshell summarizes the brotherhood in that technical side. Yes, we played against Andrew as well, and Andrew was having played. He used to play for KCB.
Yes.
He was still my good friend. He was Kevin Wambua's friend. So it was something nice that was brought in together. Steve Sewe, the team manager, was my captain at Mwamba at some time. We played with him rugby. Now he's the team manager. So you see, we are all in one shape, that we want the best for one another. As we want the best for ourselves, want the best for the team as well.
Yes, and maybe you're the coaches who will be wanted to write a lot of this is on development of rugby in future, right? And not forgetting the production line. What's the future? Having been there, identified players who you spotted and you romped them into the national team. They've delivered, got Kenya back to the World Rugby Sevens series. They're at the Olympics. What's the future? What's the production line? What must happen?
I think for the future, I'd read from the same script as KRU chairman Sasham Tai, that it's all about age grade rugby. Most of the boys playing in the 7 setup at the moment, out of the squad of 18 players that we have, I think 15 of them have played rugby via age grade. Or because now, training them young, starting them young, it's easiest to develop those skills while they are still young. So for us to have that growth, or for us to have that success, we need to start them young. And I'm happy that it's ongoing countrywide. We have all these age grade centers from Kakamega to Kisumu to Nairobi to all these other areas that guys are really focusing on the age grade, which is a good thing. So by the time us guys are done with our time or with our stint here at Kenya Sevens, I believe we'll have a good culture heading forward. Yes.
And next up is the Olympics now. What are the targets? I know the sound bites are from the few days, the dinner, the arrival. Everybody I think is saying we need to medal, we need to get to the podium. Is that the same target that the technical bench has?
Well, definitely going into the Olympics, first of all, being the biggest stage ever that every other athlete wants to take part in. Not to take anything away from the boys. It's not going to be a walk in the park. We have top rugby nations coming into the series, into Olympics. Guys who've played in the series before, they've won the series before. As we'll go again there as the underdogs, but as I said earlier, our culture is taking it a game at a time. We'll definitely, anytime we take to the field, we want to ensure that we give our level best. So the pooling for the Olympics is not yet out, but whoever is in our pool, we'll definitely give them a run for their money. Our objective is to make it into the podium, medal bracket, be it bronze, be it silver, be it gold. Then we'll take what comes, but we'll give it our best. Yes.
A number of tweaks to the squad. It's too early to talk about that.
Too early to talk about it, but again, it's sports. We have a bunch of 18 good players who can either who either of them can fit in the squad. So again, nature of sports, you never know. Somebody might get injured during training, somebody might get commitment, and once that happens, you can have 1 or 2 players being slotted in. Yes.
And of course, the bigger one as we wind up is the return to the World 7 Series. That's big, and what's the plan now?
Well, currently the plan is definitely to play in the series which we've qualified for. The plan is to maintain our status quo there. Again, I'll say it's not going to be easy, but we have time. We really have time. Currently, we are more focused with the Olympics. Once we're done with the Olympics by August, then we roll out the plan on how to ensure we perform to the best of our abilities heading into the series. We will not let Kenyans down. We'll give our best performance anytime we take to the field, and you'll see we'll be there for a while.
Yes, indeed, and also everybody will be watching, and we wish Shujaa all the best. Louis Kisi as the immediate coach for Strathmore Leos. Where next? Because I just used the word immediate former coach.
Yes, you rightly put it, immediate former. At the moment, I'm focused with the national team and to ensure I give my best to the national team because it's the highest level of coaching, it's the highest level of playing. Any ambitious coach or ambitious athlete will always want to be in the national team where I am now. So my focus is really on Kenya Sevens. But my doors are open when opportunities come and we'll always apply and hope we get into any other slot.
Yes, indeed, and all the best, Louis. Our Olympics is up next, and also the return to the World 7 Series is what will be following immediately after the Olympics. We wish Shujaa all the best as they represent and carry the nation's flag up high. Thank you so much, Louis, for making your time. Glad to have you, and we, as always, be glad to host you again more and more. Right, up next, I'll be speaking to the Kabaddi men's team from their participation in the Bangabandhu Cup that's in Bangladesh. Stay on the touchline.